Hello everyone, in this video I will be showing you a little bit about the for loop in Python. So let's get started. Here I got this nice example, basic example of what a for loop is, the for loop definition. Here, as you can see here, this is a generic template of how to use a for loop. You say for name in iterable, colon, and you just add your statements. So, three things to consider. What is this name? What is this iterable thing? And what is the statements? Well, the easiest thing to see in this template is that the statements are basically whatever you want looped. And the name here is basically what position are we in something that's iterable. So, iterable, what does iterable mean? It basically means that you need something that produces a stream of values. So this object right here that we're using inside our for loop, we have to make sure that there's values in there, because without any values, there's no need to do a loop, right? So the name right here is basically just saying the position that you're currently in based on this iterable statement object. So let's take a more visual approach at this. If I was a detective, if you were a detective and I was telling you, go ahead and find the drawer that had the secret key inside. So, as a normal person would, or as anyone, we would check this one first, we'll check this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, until it's over. So checking the drawer, opening the drawer, checking it's not there, and then closing it, that's basically, we're going to be doing like a long loop. It's a really long process. It's a loop, right? So, what is the iterable statement or object inside here? It's the drawer. The drawer, it has a lot of drawers. So, in this picture, there's a lot of many different drawers. So, it has a list and it has a range of different things. And then I'm going to be checking it one by one based on the drawers. I mean, if there was only one, then there's no need for a loop. Since there's so many, then we have to have this way of looking through each drawer. So it's something that's kind of like that. That's the purposes of a loop, is to do something based upon this range or something that's iterable that's given to you. So now let's take a step further and let's go ahead and try to practice using the for loop. So let's go ahead and open up projects, and I'm going to copy my template. I'm going to go into practice, and I'm going to go paste this template, and I'm going to call it for loop. Okay, there we go. Edit it, and let's start my for loop. So, the simplest thing, right? We all know how to print. Print hello world. Print hello world, right? Simple. But what if I told you to put this print statement inside a for loop so that you can print it so many times? Well, let's go ahead and get the structure of a for loop. It's gonna have to say for name in something iterable. And then the statements go here because of the indentation. So now, can we basically put this print statement inside this for loop and it's gonna work? No, we cannot. So here, let's go ahead and give it something to iterate on. We want to tell this loop, make sure you have a range to go upon. And remember, in Python, when you're learning the basics of Python, you learn the function called range. Range. I'm going to start it at 0, and then I'm going to go up to 3. Now here, if we run it, it's going to work. Now, I really don't care what position we are or what index we are inside of this range, because all I really want is just to print it, right? Print it 3 times. So let's go ahead and run that. Now take a look at this code. Your expected output should be hello world 3 times, stacked up in a line, right? Yes. And that is my expected output. So I'm going to go ahead and copy where my location is. I'm going to change the directory. And I'm going to start to run that for loop example. And great. I got hello world 3 times. Yay! That's great. So now, let's go back in here. For the range part, because this is supposed to be something iterable, right? I could say iterable equals the range. Copy it there and paste it in there. Now, would that work? So it kind of looks like the template. Here we go. So let's go look at the template. For position iterable, for name and iterable, and the statements. So my statements is just hello world. And then for position, I didn't call it name, I just wanted position. So now I could actually print hello world, you are at position, and I want to print out the position. And remember, using this concatenation technique, right, this right here, this double quotes and the text inside, this is a string. So I want to combine a string with a number. Will that work in Python? No, it's not going to work. We have to make sure we use this correctly. So I need to make sure this is also a string. Right now it's used as a number, an integer. So I got to go ahead and cast this into a string for it to work. Now, let's go ahead and run it. And here it's saying, hello world, you are at position 0, 1, 2. 0, 1, 2. How come it don't start at 0? Well, remember from the readings that when you're using the range, it's always going to default and start at 0. And it's going to go up to the number of times you want it to be, but when you actually print out what position it's at, it's going to start from 0. So if you wanted to be more user-friendly about it, and you don't want to say position 0 because you want to say position 1, 2, 3, how would we fix that? How would we make sure we wanted to say put a position 1, 2, 3 instead of 0, 1, 2? So we gotta basically go to our output here. This, since it starts at 0, it's gonna print out 0, but we want it to say 1, 2, 3. So what could we do with this? We could save at position 1. So now, I mean, it's still going to loop 3 times because of the range, but now it's actually going to be a little bit more user-friendly. It's going to say position 1. Great, so I mean, it still prints out 3 times, but it's just telling me it's position 1. Now, for the iterable statement, object, for the range, I mean, another shortcut way to say the range, I mean, you could just say 3. Pretty much, and then it'll still work. You don't have to add the 0 comma and then the number of times you want it to go. So that would be actually more simple, a little bit more user-friendly to read, and it still works. Position 1, 2, 3. And if I didn't care about the 1, 2, 3 thing, and I don't mind seeing it's at position, it's really at position 0, and I'm just gonna take that out. Run it, and 0, 1, 2, 3 is back in there. So now, you know, in the other video, how we did the clear screen thing. Let's go ahead and pop that back. Right here, animation, yeah. Let's go ahead and edit that. And notice I'm printing something so many times, but now instead of this long print statement, I can use a for loop to just use print once, and then the loop will take care of everything. Sorry about that, I got some background noise, unexpected background noise. Anyways, So let's go ahead and copy this. I'll copy it. And let's go back into our animation. And I want to paste the code in here. See, I gotta be careful when I paste in the code, because I need to re-indent everything. So now, I am gonna remove all this, and all that I really want is to print it like that. And for the range, let's print it out 33 times. So whenever they call clear screen again, it's just gonna print like that. See the code got a lot more smaller because we're being a little bit more efficient in utilizing Python coding and Python syntax. So to even like have less lines of code, what I could do, because I'm so used to let's assume that I'm so used to writing for loops, instead of it being like this, I mean I can just put back the range in here, and I don't need it. So look. So now we see this function. It's called clear screen. It's only 2 lines long versus it was like about 30 or 20 lines long, 29 lines long. Now we really condensed it because we utilized the for loop. So this is great. So now, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope this video helped you understand more about for loops. In the next video, I can show you the same thing, same output that we're going to get, but instead of for loops, we can use while loops. While loops, it won't need the iterable statement here, but yeah, we'll dive into it later. So I'll see you in the video and we'll talk about for loops. So hope you enjoy learning about for loops. In the next video, we'll talk about while loops. Aloha!